A very good evening to you and welcome to Nationwide. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The 14th meeting of the Federal Executive Council for the year 2020 has held at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Like the previous ones held virtually, President Muhammadu Buhari presided over and joined by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief of Staff to the President, and few ministers. Other ministers of the highest policy decision-making body of the government are participating online from their offices. During the meeting, several memoranda are expected to be considered for possible approval in furtherance of the next level agenda. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that some ministers are also slated to give account of their stewardship to the council. More details of the meeting will come your way in our subsequent bulletins. House of Representatives has passed the amended 2020 appropriation bill of 10.801 trillion naira. The approved amount is 300 billion naira more than the revised figure of 10.5 trillion submitted by the Executive Council. By the Executive House also approved the $5.5 billion presidential loan request to fund the budget, execute priority projects, and support projects by state governments. Details will also come in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the leadership and members of the 9th National Assembly on their first anniversary and extolled their sense of duty and diligence in handling issues relating to the development of the country. President Buhari, who commended the vision, courage, and patriotism of the Assembly in a statement, noted the zeal at which members process bills that directly impact the welfare of Nigerians and how they courageously find common grounds to move the country forward. The President particularly expressed appreciation to the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila for using their wealth of experience, wisdom and knowledge to ensure a peaceful working relationship among lawmakers between both chambers, the judiciary and the executive, by always focusing on the larger picture of nation building. As the 9th National Assembly commemorates the landmark, President Buhari also noted how the legislature has brought dignity and honor to the country and looks forward to more years of harmonious working relationship with focus on improving the livelihood of citizens, thereby creating an enabling environment for a prosperous nation where both the young and old can fully realize their dreams. Following the reprisal attack by insurgents in villages of Gubio, local government area of Borno State, which left several people dead, the House of Representatives has called for intensified patrol in affected areas. The House, while debating the issue as a matter of urgent public importance, moved by Representative Usman Zana, also called for constitutional amendments to enable law-abiding Nigerians bear arms to defend themselves against attacks. The lawmakers urged Northeast Development Commission to assist victims in their affected villages covering Gubio, Magumeri, and Maganzai. Wednesday's plenary also adopted a motion from Representative Garba Dati calling for a review of Nigeria's foreign policy in view of the increase in reported cases of racial discrimination against black people. And now to the COVID-19. In its highest number of cases recorded so far per day, the NCDC has announced 663 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The 663 new confirmed cases released at 11:45 p.m. on June 9, 2020, raises the total number of cases to 13,464. With 170 cases, Lagos has the highest number in the breakdown, while Ogun has 108. Others are Bauchi with 69 cases, Ebonyi 49, Edo 33, Rivers 30, with the FCT and Jigawa recording 26 cases each. Delta has 20, Anambra 17, while Gombe and Kano have 16 new cases each. Imo recorded 15 new cases, Abia 14, Borno and Oyo 11 each. Plateau 8, Kebbi and Kaduna have 6 new cases each. There are also 4 new cases in Ondo, Niger and Katsina recorded 2 each, while Osun, Ekiti, Kwara and Nasarawa have 1 case each. Lagos remains top on the COVID-19 chart table with 6,065, followed by Kano with 1,020 cases each, closely trailed by the FCT with 1,012 COVID-19 cases so far. 4,206 recovered patients have been discharged, with 365 deaths on record. The National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has assessed, approved and validated the Akwa Ibom State Polymerase Chain Reaction PCR laboratory for the testing of COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. The team described the PCR lab as one of the best in the country. Susan Asuko has more.
Polymerase Chain Reaction PCR laboratory, which is attached to the just completed and inaugurated isolation center in Itumbang, is single-handedly funded and built by the state government to combat the coronavirus disease. Speaking during a courtesy call on the chairman COVID-19 Management Committee and the secretary to the state government, Emmanuel Ekuwem, leader of the NCDC team, Mr. Bankole Olufemi, commended Governor Odom Emmanuel for his effort in fighting COVID-19, describing the PCR laboratory as one of the best in the country. He lauded the caliber of medical personnel deployed to man the facility, but however advised proper demarcation of different sections of the center to ensure smooth workflow.
I'd like to commend the state government for the facility we make on grant. Because in many facilities, when you go there, you see just maybe one or two rooms that they want to convert into COVID. But this was built for the purpose of that business. So I would like to commend the state government for doing that.
In his reaction, Secretary to the State Government, who is also Chairman COVID-19 Management Committee, Emmanuel Ekuwem, appreciated the NCDC for their cooperation and support, which led to the approval of the center.
Evaluate the kind of facilities that His Excellency the Governor had directed and supported and financed, and the tools that his passion, that those facilities were established or set up where you were to respect in the general hospital in the Itumbang premises.
Other members of the NCDC team said the center, aside from having the capacity to run 180 tests per day, will serve as a research center for students of microbiology, stressing that the University of Uyo will collaborate with the state government to ensure sustainability of the facility. With the approval and activation of the PCR laboratory, testing of samples of suspected coronavirus-infected persons will commence in the state in few days' time. In Uyo, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
And now, Niger State government has lifted the lockdown order to allow for smooth running of socio-economic activities. Restriction is, however, still placed on movement from 10 o'clock in the night to 4 o'clock in the morning. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, who announced this at a media parley in Mina, also maintained that the ban on commercial motorcyclists remains. Suleiman Kodogi reports.
State government in April this year placed lockdown order on the state for 2 weeks period towards curtailing the spread of COVID-19, which it has continued to review. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, while addressing the press shortly after the meeting with the task force on COVID-19, says the state has recorded 46 cases of COVID-19 with 1 death. 26 of them have been discharged.
All measures earlier put in place shall be eased. Nonetheless, there shall be enhanced enforcement of compulsory use of face masks in public places and adherence to physical distancing. Henceforth, markets, banks, and other places of business activities should be opened with strict adherence to all safety measures.
The governor stressed that the ban on interstate travel remains in force, but movement of agricultural produce, petroleum products, goods and essential services could be moved. Abubakar Sani Bello directed the Minister of Education to also liaise with stakeholders in the education sector and come up with a workable strategy for the reopening of schools in the state. He explained that efforts will be put in place to mitigate against community transmission and appeal to the people to continue to abide by personal hygiene procedures as well as other precautionary measures. In Mina, Suleiman Kudogi, NTA News.
Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has opened up Kaduna State after 75 days of partial lockdown following the invocation of the Quarantine Act and the Kaduna State Public Health Law. In a statement, the governor said as from Wednesday 10th June 2020, the quarantine order will be amended to permit a significant reopening of the state, especially businesses and places of worship, subject to compliance with the safety stipulations. Businesses are to open subject to the provision of thermometers for temperature checks, sanitizers or hand washing equipment, and physical distancing measures within all facilities. Working hours will be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. Transport operators are to reduce passengers' capacity to not more than 2 per row and not more than 50% of capacity. Supermarkets and providers of personal services such as hairdressing and barbing salons can also reopen. Hotels are still restricted to takeaway services with their restaurants and bars offering only room service. They can, however, resume operation after decontamination. Public servants, on the other hand, will be summoned back to work in phases to be announced by the head of service, while schools and markets will remain closed. Now let's join Ruth in Lagos for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Ruth.
Hello, Lydia. Good to see you. Now, with the partial lockdown, construction workers have returned to site and are working against the clock to beat the deadline. Dr. Oguyemi has an update on the extent of work on the Apapa Oshodi, Oworonshoki and Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
Trucks and other articulated vehicles are a common sight in the Apapa axis of Lagos. All the routes in this layout bear the brunt of the heavy vehicles in traffic daily, subjecting the asphalt to quick wear and tear, while residents suffer stress and loss of valuable man hours.
Reach my two, the road before is tore up. Now the road is well. Everybody enjoy about the road now.
The road is very big. It's very long time. When they do this road now, it's okay.
To stop avoidable leakages, the federal government budgeted 73 billion naira for the reconstruction of the project, which commenced in 2018, embracing new technology in the road construction, which is designed to withstand the pressure of heavy-duty vehicles.
Using the concept of a continuously reinforced concrete pavement, which is basically a continuously reinforced pavement.
The roadworks, which are in 4 sections, have reached an overall 40% completion.
Before, if you are coming from Apapa and you are going to Ojota, you spend nothing less than 4 hours. But no, you spend less than 15 minutes before you get to Ojota. Because of the completed section that we have done, it has been open, and then the commuters, they are happy using it.
In the meantime, work is also in progress on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, with 45% of the project completed. The Federal Controller of Works stated that about 1,600 direct and indirect jobs have been created following resumption of work on the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway. Completion is projected at November 2020. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
As community spread of COVID-19 persists, parents have been advised to embrace e-learning as it remains the only option for educating children during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nosa Osula spoke with residents about online learning, and they analyzed the pros and cons of the system.
COVID-19 pandemic has affected educational systems worldwide, leading to the closure of schools, universities and colleges. Around the world, schools in over 100 countries are closed to protect against the spread of coronavirus, affecting the education of nearly 1 billion children. Increase in number of COVID-19 cases and extension of partial lockdown in the country has now pointed to the fact that schools are not physically resuming anytime soon. Muritala Anyila, a journalist, urged parents to acquaint themselves with e-learning as that is the only way to protect children from COVID-19 while schooling.
Gone are the days that we make use of paper, you have to read through, but nowadays you read through online. If you can now introduce online to our students, our pupils, our children by now, I think this is the best way to go. If there's any parent who has not been adopting that system, I think that person needs to have a rethink.
While Mr. Kazim Ubodaga complained about the cost of data for online schooling.
Many students or parents cannot afford data because if you're going to run an online class, you are going to burn lots of data and lots of money. So what happened to the woman selling akara there or the traders there that cannot afford such money?
The Lagos State Commissioner for Education said government adopted the use of multiple media, including radio, television and the internet, to reach the students at this time of the COVID-19 pandemic.
PTF spoke and said schools remain closed. So really I cannot give you a date for when schools will open. That is clear. But we are working, they too are working with us, with development partners, ministries of education across the country to come up with a series of protocols for how we will be able to manage.
In the area of school feeding, the commissioner said the state ministry has implemented the homegrown feeding program in Lagos, Nosa, Osula, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. Lydia is set in Abuja to bring us more stories after this break. Don't go away.
The truth of the matter is that you do not have two sunrises in one day, even in Africa.
But the good thing is for us to forgive and forget.
History will take care of everything.
My name is Baba Kingibe.
On behalf of the federal government, I tender the nation's apology to the family of late MKO Abuja.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
In times like this, the coronavirus is spreading so fast. The use of face masks has become very vital. More importantly, for the elderly in the society whom their immune system is not strong enough to fight the disease. If you must go out, use a face mask. It is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Wear your mask, I wear my mask. So much to do, but stay at home for your own safety. Make an extra washable mask and share with your neighbor. Everyone should use a face mask once you leave home to be safe from the coronavirus, especially the elderly persons in our society. Protect me, I'll protect you. This message was brought to you by the Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSRAPPing, in collaboration with the National.
We have observed the lockdown. We have practiced the measures
in order to curb the spread of the virus, but we can do better. The coronavirus spread is increasing daily, and only together can we cut down the numbers and defeat the spread of the virus. Remember, COVID-19 is not a death sentence, and a recovered patient cannot spread the disease. Do not stigmatize. Do not hesitate to report any case, or if you have come in contact with anybody that has been infected with COVID-19. If you have cough and fever, please stay at home and call your state hotline. Find state numbers at www.covid19.ncdc.gov.ng. Remember, it is for your own good and for the good of every Nigerian. Let us do better and defeat the virus. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network. There is a lot of fake news and report circulating, especially on social media, on the coronavirus. Do not believe or partake in the spread of these fake reports. If it is not on the official website or news from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disregard such report. Only together can we beat this virus. Only together can we overcome this pandemic. Follow the instructions and guidelines provided to combat this virus. Most importantly, stay at home. Self-isolate, regardless of your status. The virus doesn't move unless we move. Let us work together to better Nigeria. Together, we can do this. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Thank you for staying with the NTA. The federal government, through Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has donated some personal protective equipment, PPE, to Federal Medical Center in Abuja towards expanding the frontiers of containment measures against the coronavirus pandemic. Lukman Adefeso's report is presented in this package.
The personal protective equipment donated is in fulfillment of an earlier promise to equip isolation centers nationwide for optimal treatment of COVID-19 patients. The Chief Medical Director, Federal Medical Center, Abuja, Professor Musa Lomo, who received the items, noted that it will go a long way to improve their service delivery to the people. He appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for the gesture and appealed for financial support because of dwindling internally generated revenue in the center as a result of COVID-19. The CMD also informed that the Federal Medical Center Abuja has established an additional isolation center to cater for increasing number of COVID-19 patients in the state.
We have two isolation centers, one within the FMC, the other at our permanent site. Now this is within FMC, and we have created another isolation center that can occupy at least 30 patients.
He allayed public fears about FMC and encouraged those with health challenge to visit the hospital as it remains open for treatment of all ailments.
Abdurrahman in Sokoto is standing by to tell us more about trending stories from that axis. Abdurrahman, you're on.
Hello Lydia, and welcome to Sokoto. In an effort to put a smile on the faces of the less privileged in the society, the wife of Zamfara State Governor Balkisu Bello Muhammad has distributed palliative to the needy. Salamatu Umar Abdullahi reports that the beneficiaries were drawn from Maradin Emirate of the state.
Some of the beneficiaries who spoke with NTA News said the gesture came at the right time and prayed God's intervention to end the coronavirus pandemic. Wife of the Zamfara State Governor, Balkisu Muhammad, noted that she established the Sarakin Matawale Charity Foundation in order to assist the less privileged, needy, orphans, and vulnerable in the state as part of her contribution to complement her husband's administration. She added that the distribution of the palliatives is to cushion the sufferings of the people on the directive of the stay at home by the federal government as a result of coronavirus pandemic. The chairpersons of the State Female Education Board, Hajia Zuera Abdugusau said, Hajia Bulkisu assisted over 10,000 orphans across the state.
She has been doing every looks and corner, not only in Maradi local government, but in the whole 14 local government of Zamfara State.
In their separate remarks, special advisors to the wife of the governor on Fulani Affairs and Orphans, Aisha Muhammad Anka and Aisha Magaji said, the present administration is committed to cater for the welfare of its citizenry. From Gusau, Salamatu Umar Abdullahi, NTA News.
Pastoralists and livestock owners in Kebbi State are to heave a sigh of relief following procurement of assorted animal feeds by the state government to ensure compliance with interstate restriction order. Nuratanko Wakili reports.
The federal and state governments have set guidelines to contain the spread of COVID-19 across the country, which include restriction on interstate movements and movements to the neighboring countries. This eventually became a serious challenge over the time to the pastoralists who move from one place to another for their animal to pest. It is in response to this that the Kebbi State government procured a large quantity of assorted animal feeds with a view to providing alternative to the pastoralists at subsidized rates.
Feeds from now onwards will be available in our zonal offices. We are also thinking of maybe bringing it to local government levels to make it easy for them.
However, officials of the State Ministry for Animal Health noted with concern the activities of some members of the public who intend to take advantage of the government's initiative by engaging in sharp practices.
My appeal is that they should have the fear of God and they should allow only genuine pastoralists and livestock farmers to come and purchase from our stores.
The ministry is also establishing a seed bank where pastoralists can access assorted grasses for transplanting to provide only around grazing fields for the pastoralists. Some of the beneficiaries commended the state government for the gesture and promised to key into all programs initiated to improve livestock production. The annual feeds include cotton seed cake, wheat offal, and salt lake, among others. In Bednin Kebbi, Nora Tanko Akili, NTA News.
That's it from here. It's back to Lydia in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide. For continuation of Nationwide.
As COVID-19 continues to ravage innocent lives, more assistance have continued to reach the grassroots to cushion the effects of the pandemic. Zara Umar Adamu reports that the National Agency for Great Green Wall is among the latest to reach out to some rural communities in Gombe State.
As part of its mandate to boost food security and improve living conditions of locally and vulnerable communities, the National Agency for Great Green Wall decides to distribute palliatives to some selected communities in the frontline states as a life-saving support against COVID-19.
Anchau community in Ahashidu, Duku local government, is one of the 5 communities identified in Gombe State to benefit from the palliative courtesy of Agency for Great Green Wall. Among the items brought include rice and oil. With me, I have the representative of the DG.
Looking at the COVID-19 that just came in without any plan and whatever is one of those things that have halted our own activities. That is what brought about the issue of bringing this palliative to mitigate the effect of this lockdown, that people are not allowed to go out.
Benefiting communities appreciate the federal government's untiring efforts aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the masses.
I will ensure justice in sharing the items. We appreciate the gesture. I've never received such gesture until now. President Buhari has indeed assisted the masses.
Adama Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe and Zamfara are the frontline states to benefit from the agency's palliative. Zara Umar Adam, NTA News.
Enugu is our next port of call and Mina is our guide. Over to you, Mina. I apologize for the lack of audio joining Mina. We'll now take a break. We'll be back for more reports.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
As a strong immune system increases the chances of victims surviving COVID-19, a corruption-free society creates opportunities for citizens to thrive and prosper. Build your immunity. Stop corruption now. Report all acts of corruption to ICPC on this toll-free number 0800 2255 4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
25th February 2020, Nigeria. It is real. It is a nightmare. It is killing people all over the world. It is COVID-19. Compliance with the various states in Nigeria, the current measures will flatten the curves. Shutting down is not an act of wickedness, but an act to save lives. Stay home, stay safe. Observe social distance. Always put on a face mask while leaving your house. Make sure you are on a tricycle alone. Cars and buses cannot carry more than half their passengers.
Always remember to wash your hands. Together, we will defeat COVID-19.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibilities.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Welcome back. While lauding the achievements of the current administration on the successes recorded in the rail sector over the past 5 years, guests on Good Morning Nigeria noted that unless the momentum of change being experienced in the rail development is sustained across all sectors, the country may be full of incomplete infrastructure in the years ahead. The guests were speaking on the issue 5 years of Buhari administration, focus on rail development. Daniel Aderie now tells us more.
The government and the minister taking this thing as a personal, just